I'm going to go through a couple of examples of how to factor a problem such as this, where there is a number in front of the x squared. Remember, this is, the way we refer to this is ax squared plus bx plus c. So when I say first multiply the a and c, I mean multiply the first two numbers together. So 2 times -3 is -6. And then the middle number is 5. The b, the one in the b spot, is 5. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for two numbers that I can multiply together to be -6 and that I can add together to be 5. And so if you kind of go through those, start off with 1. 1 times 6, or 1 times -6 is 6. 1 plus -6 is -5, not +5. So let's try -6 and -1. If I try 6 and -1, that gives me -6 when I multiply, and when I add them, that is +5. So that is it. So the whole idea of doing this is so that, because we can't factor this problem as it is, we want to divide up the 5x. So instead of 5x, this is telling me I can change it to 6 and -1x, and then I will be able to factor it more easily. So I have 6x and -1x. You want to look at these two and think, like, if I put 6x here and -1x here, and then you kind of group them together, 6x and -1x. Is there something I can factor out of each of these groups? If there isn't, you want to just switch the spots of these and then look at that and see if you can factor something out of each of the groups. But here I can. If I look at the first one, 2x squared plus 6x, they both have, I can factor a 2 out. I can divide them both by 2. And they both have an x. I can divide them both by x. When I do that, I'm left with x plus 3. I'm dividing each of these by 2x, and I end up with x plus 3. Then if I look at this one on the right, I see they're both negative. I want to factor out a -1. And when I divide each of these terms by -1, I end up with x plus 3. That's the goal. You want to have it in this format where when you look at each of these new terms, you'll see they both have the same thing in parentheses. Both of these have an x plus 3. So my last factoring I can do is each of those terms, I'm going to factor out an x plus 3. And when I do that, what's left is 2x minus 1. So this is my answer. If I were to multiply these two together, I would get the original problem up here. Let's go over one more example. We look at this. So again, this process works when you have a number in front of the x squared. We have a 5 here. And first I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 5 times 6. 5 times 6 is 30. So I'm looking for two numbers I can multiply together to be 30. And then the middle number is -17. So two numbers I can multiply together to be 30 and add together to be -17. So they both have to be negative, because multiplying two negatives together gives me a positive. And adding two negatives gives me a negative. So if I try -1 and -30, that's going to give me -31, not -17. If I try -2 and -15, when I add those together, it gives me -17. That's it. So -2 and -15. And again, the whole idea of this is to be able to rewrite our original problem and to divide this -17x into two pieces. -17x is the same as -2x and -15x added together. So you want to look at this. If I look at -2x here and -15x here, it doesn't work out as clearly. Like if you look here, 5 and 15, I can factor out a 5. 2 and 6, I can factor out a 2. Let's try switching it here. So I'm going to put, the negative 15x here and the negative 2x here. So when I group these two together, you then see that you can factor something out of each of these groups. You're looking for that greatest common factor you can factor out of each. The one on the left, 5 and negative 15, I see I can factor out a 5. And x squared and x, I can factor out at 1x. And that's going to leave me with x minus 3. And then if I look at the one on the right, I can divide both of them by negative 2. And that gives me x minus 3. Which again, that's our whole goal, is to look at each of these terms and see that they both have the same thing in the parentheses. I can factor x minus 3 out of both of these terms. And what I'm left with is 5x minus 2.